Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paper Garden. My name is Emily Hatcher. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Houston, Texas, and I stamp under the name Paper Garden HTX for Houston. So I'm so happy you found us today. We are going to be doing a video today making this K-Pop Demonhunters inspired card featuring this sentiment, "You Are Golden," from the Just Peachy stamp set that is part of the May online exclusive. So you can look it up over at papergardenhtx.stampinup.net and add that to your cart if you don't already have it. We are doing mostly a demo video today. This card's a little complicated, so I'm gonna skip a lot of the usual announcements. What I will say, just 3 reminders. First, if you want the dimensions for this and the supply list for this card, you've got to sign up for our newsletter. So head on over to papergardenhtx.stampinup.net, scroll on down and enter your email and subscribe. Then you'll get the dimensions emailed to you as part of our newsletter. 2, today, Sunday, May 31st, is the last day to sign up for our wall art virtual class, or it's really a to-go only class. This month featuring the Fern and Flora bundle. There's a picture right there of the wall art. It's beautiful, so head on over to the events tab at papergardenhtx.stampinup.net. And you'll see that today, May 31st, there's an event there. That's the deadline for sign up for that. Register for that. And lastly, today is also the deadline to take advantage of the starter kit special in May, where you could be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Absolutely never any obligation to buy or sell, but you can enjoy a discount of 20% up to 25% on your future purchases after that starter kit for $99, and get either $125 worth of product that you choose, plus all 5 new ink pads with the new in colors, or pay $99 and get $160 worth of product that you choose. So super quick today because I want to get into this stamping. So here we go. So we've got some beautiful bubble bath pattern paper with this Highland Heather cardstock that we made into the Huntrix logo, and then we used some heat embossing for "You Are Golden." As soon as I saw this sentiment on this Just Peachy stamp set, which has a lot of other great sentiments. There's other videos on our YouTube, which I forgot to say, please like this video, follow us, subscribe, all the places. We really appreciate it. But as soon as I saw that sentiment, I knew I had to make a K-Pop Demonhunters inspired card, specifically, obviously, Huntrix. I had so much fun creating it. It looks complicated because it is a little complicated. For those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know that typically I do pretty simple, straightforward stamping, but I really wanted to figure out how to make this work. And I think I did. I'm happy with it. So we are going to use the heck out of our silicone craft sheet today, and the heck out of some liquid glue. So let's get started here. So I'm a big fan of the movie. Super excited to make this card. My trivia team are also big fans, so I had to send them a picture when I made this. So how this is made, before I get into that, So we're gonna punch out 2 circles, cut them in half, and then we're gonna glue some strips. I purposely overcut or cut them too long, and then we'll trim them down. When I was playing with the design, I originally, oh, Molly's crying. If you hear crying in the background, it is just my Labradoodle crying like a little human baby. She's fine. So these are some 1/4 inch strips. When I was working on this design initially, I like measured everything exact, but then it got kind of annoying when I was gluing everything together to always have to make sure I did it in the exact order, and grab the right piece at the right time. And I was having to do a little bit of trimming anyway. And I realized, why not just cut them all the same length and a little bit long and then trim everything, and then it's just easier, and it is. So we're gonna make the Huntrix logo first out of Highland Heather cardstock. And then while the glue on that sets, we're gonna do the heat embossing and then kind of assemble part of the rest of the card. But anyway, so we've got a strip. This is 6 3/4 by 2 3/4. Really, it's the 2 3/4 part that is important to make sure that it's big enough to do what we're going to do. So we've got our 1 3/4 circle punch, and we are going to do our best to try and punch that right in the very middle. And so you can do that by judging it where I've kind of poked the paper through. That's why you kind of want you always want a longer piece than what you need so you can help position it. So we're gonna punch that, and then we're also gonna go away to the other end because we need 2. Now, I'll lock that back up. We are going to take our 2 3/8 circle punch. So you may see I just unlocked the punch. So the screen, so for storage, that's what these little tabs on the bottom are. You squeeze it shut, move the tab, then it stores closed, saves you some room, open it up. Now, we are going to do our best. Again, this is a 2 3/8 circle punch to create a circle, right? It's like a circle outline. So we're just going to try and center it. And I just eyeball it. I tried to do a bunch of markings and stuff to always do it perfectly, and that was just kind of crazy making. But the X's on the inside of the X on the inside of the punch kind of helps, and then just eyeball it too. You got to make sure the shadows don't mess you up. And this is what we want. And we're going to make a second one. All right, so we've got our 2 rings. I guess that's really what they are. So we need to cut these in half. So we cut the outer is 2 3/8, and this is where you're using grid paper really comes in handy. So we know it's 2 3/8 because that's the circle punch that we used. And I did not bring a pen in here. So we're gonna, that's okay. So half of 2 3/8 would be 1 3/16. So we don't have 16ths on here exactly, but we have 8ths. So 1 3/16 would be halfway between. So we're going to just kind of halfway between the 1/8 and the 1/4. No. 3/16. Yes. Had to think about my fractions there for a minute. So since I don't have my pin in here, I'm just going to notch. Just kind of do a notch with my scissors on either side. And then we are going to cut in half. So then we have 4 crescents. Now, here is where we get, so we're gonna assemble this all on silicone craft sheet and use silicone. You need to do this because the glue is, you're going to be using a lot of liquid glue, and you have to use liquid glue for this project. Nothing else is going to be kind of precise where you want it, and you're just, you need to use liquid glue. But one of the great things about, so that way the glue's not going to stick to the sheet, you're not going to have a problem, because this is especially important because as we assemble it, when it's done, we're actually going to flip it over. So the done side is facing down, like the side that you're going to want on the front of your card is facing down. And so that's really why you're going to want and do this on a silicone sheet, because you don't want any chance that it's going to stick to what you're assembling it on, because if it sticks, it's going to be that underside, which is the front side. And then you would have done all this really hard work, and at the last minute, it's going to, fray. So silicone craft sheet, one of the really great things, and it's probably hard to tell in the glare of the camera, but you actually can see the grid lines through the silicone craft sheet, which is super helpful for this project for us to kind of keep our lines straight so we don't get kind of cattywampus. So what we are doing is we're going to take all of these rings, and it's really important so that it actually will fit on the front of the card. See right here, I mean, visually I can tell that this is at an angle, but I can also see the grid lines through and know that I need to pivot and straighten. I'm just going to show this really quickly for y'all. And then I'll come back and start gluing. What you have to have this full overlap of this roughly 1/4 inch. Like you can't hang it off that way or only come part way up, because you really won't fit on the front of the card. You can see that we just barely fit on the front of the card. I wanted to still use the standard invitation size envelope and not have to go through the rigmarole of making a custom envelope, which we can do, but easier and more likely that I'll send it if it just fits in a regular envelope. I'll just be honest. So you want that overlap. So we're going to use our liquid glue. And you will probably see me a couple of times have to kind of shake it and gird the little glue boogers out of the end. There's nothing defective or wrong. It's just anybody who's used any sort of liquid glue in, kindergarten on up, that they just get those glue boogers, and that's just the way it is. So one of the other great reasons, so dries clear, gives us the flexibility, because you saw me just have to swizzle it, because I could tell that I had glued it, because again, I can see through and see the grid lines. I could tell that I hadn't glued it at a right angle very well, so I was able to move it around, which is one of the best parts of liquid glue, is that it gives you that flexibility. To move things, which sometimes is annoying. Like just there, I had everything lined up. And then when I went to burnish it, to press it down, it moved, but that's okay. So we also want to make sure we don't peek out really, because again, this is the front. There we go. There. Now, put some glue here. And so if you're watching this and you've never heard of K-Pop Demonhunters, I applaud you for continuing to watch the video this long. But what we are making is my version of the Huntrix logo, which is the girl trio that fights the titular characters, if you will, that are the demon hunters, and want to steal a golden honeymoon. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but that's okay. So you are golden. You could just send it to somebody who loves the movie, which I mentioned earlier. The other two members of my trivia team are big fans, though technically one of them is more fans of the Saja Boys, but that's okay. We love the song Soda Pop too, because I mean, you know, how can you not? So what we're doing first is we're taking these 1/4-inch strips, and first what we're going to do is basically make a square connecting the rings. And like I said, to make it easier on myself for cutting, I cut everything the same length, and then we'll have to use our scissors to snip them, which, FYI, we do have scissors on the website again. You'll see me use my giant paper scissors, which I make work as paper snips, but you really, and sometimes, see, Molly knows I should be using the smaller scissors. I do use my embroidery scissors sometimes, but I really don't like to cut paper with my embroidery scissors. You sewers out there, well, really, I don't embroider, I needlepoint, but they're embroidery scissors, right? But you sewers out there can sympathize with your sewing scissors being hijacked for paper crafts, and how not fun that is, and frustrating. So one thing you do see me doing, yes, they are too long, but instead of doing it flat, I like for one end to be where I want it, because the tails don't get in the way so much as I'm assembling. So here we go. Now, so we got our square. Now we're gonna take 2 pieces and kind of right in the middle, we're making a cross, okay? So I think across the full diameter, circumference, we're just gonna boop, little cross. We're gonna do our best to, it's probably not quite, there we go, enough. All right, so we did our equator. And now we're gonna do our prime meridian. I'm gonna go right through Greenwich, England. All right, now we're gonna make 2 right angles. So this is important. So we're making the logo where, even though we know this is the back side, the nice thing about this logo is that we're gonna make it so that as if the logo, as if this was the front side. And because of the way it's drawn, we can flip it over and turn it, and then the logo's still right. So rather than trying to think about making a mirror image, you actually don't have to, which is lucky because I didn't really realize it when I was figuring it out the first time, and then realized that it did work that way. So I'm going to show you how this is going to work. You're going to make a right angle. So you're going between, so we're at the Tropic of Capricorn, right? So equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. We are going to make this right angle down here, and we're splitting between the bottom. This is where the globe analogy falls apart. Antarctic circle. There we go. No, it doesn't. So you've got your Antarctic circle, your equator. So then this is your Tropic of Capricorn. And then if this is Greenwich, we're, I don't know, Istanbul, I don't know, somewhere to the east. And then you're gonna make this right angle down here, all right? So this is why we're doing a longer video today, for me to show you kind of how this works. I was belaboring the point, I guess. Really, you're gonna split this bottom half, but you're only gonna go across 2 other pieces of lattice, okay? Then I'm gonna go try to really make sure you're in the center of the square. And I have gotten a little off of using my grid lines, but not too badly. Not too badly, but this is, you know, it's fan art, which pretty much by definition means it's homemade, which is part of the fun things about fandoms. You know, I did my Star Wars inspired cards for May the 4th that just were, you know, my interpretation. And that's, you know, that's part of the fun. I believe that fandoms like that should be welcoming, you know, try and do something fun, different, you know, something cool. All right, so we've got this. Then we are doing this way. So at the end of the day, in order to keep yourself straight, yeah, I did that. Yes, I did that right. In order to keep yourself straight, you're only ever, like, you've got your intersections at these corners, right? But you only ever really have two pieces. By like splitting part of the arc, if that makes sense, right? You've got one at half of the arc and then one splitting one side. So now we're gonna do that right angle like that. Okay. This is kind of the part where making all the pieces long can kind of mess with your head a little bit, but I still think it's easier when you're cutting because you need 10 strips. It's easier while you're cutting, I think, to just have them all be the same length. Now, we are going to let, I mean, the glue is pretty much set, but because we used so much and it's precise, we are going to let it hang out before we do anything else. And while it is hanging out, we are going to do our heat embossing. So we've got a piece of white paper. We've got our embossing buddy system here. So this is part, so I've got a lot of adhesive on my fingers. So I'm gonna just kind of rub them off so that I don't get anything tacky. Well, really on anything else because it's annoying. But also as we move in. So we're gonna take, so this powder, what it does is it helps when you pour the embossing powder actually over after you stamp with the Versamark, it helps keep the embossing powder from sticking to other parts of the paper. So we're going to take our Versamark ink padding. This ink pad, this lasts forever. You can also buy ink refill for it. Oh, we don't want to stamp in the tray. Now the hard thing, so the Versamark, you stamp with the Versamark and that creates this sticky surface. I mean, more than that, but it creates a sticky surface for the embossing powder to adhere to, and then lets you apply the heat. But it is see-through. So this is something always hard to show on camera. You can kind of hold angles on it and see that it's got juice on it. But it can be, heat embossing can be frustrating at times because you don't really know if you got a good stamp until you put the powder on it, at which point you're committed. But it's something that you do get better with practice. So now pour that powder on here. This is our gold. Your container of heat embossing powder might look a little bit different, but this is Stampin' Up. Hard to see the logo, but it is Stampin' Up Gold. It's just this stuff lasts forever. So now we're going to use our... Ooh, uh-oh. That's okay. Tweezers. Get a little bit more. There we go. So these tweezers, so when you get your embossing buddy set, it's this plastic container, a brush, these, your packet of powder, pre-powder, brush, these ceramic tweezers, so that means when you apply the heat gun to it, you know that they're all right. And so it feels like didn't get quite see, and then I messed it up. But that's okay. This is why I don't usually heat emboss on camera, because it's a little finicky, but don't let that stop you. It's one of those techniques that, like, when it's the right technique, like, it absolutely is the right technique to use, you know, on a card. Like, am I really going to stamp "You Are Golden" not in gold? Like, no, like, come on, you know. Got to. All right. That's enough of me futzing around with it. We do have some strays, but we'll be okay. Actually, it still just seems, seems thin. There. Now I'm happy. Now, the great thing, so for years I was like, no, like, I don't need to, I've got trays and stuff. Like, I don't need to buy the official thing. But you can see that I caved because I got sick of getting embossing powder everywhere when I would try and get it out of, like, a little tray or a plate, when I could just get it out that way, right? When I could just get it out that way. And even then, so I should have used a piece of scratch paper under here, because the air conditioner is on in here, so there are strays, but we'll be okay. Yeah, there's a lot of strays, but that's all right. This puppy dog is trying to cry and act like she hasn't been fed, when it was her choice that she chose. Her breakfast had been out in her bowl since 7 this morning. She chose to eat her breakfast at like 5:05 p.m. And now she's like, oh, where's my dinner? Well, you're gonna have to wait, and you're fine. So now I'm turning on our heat tool. All nice and shiny. We're gonna let that hang out there while we do the rest of the card. So actually, we are gonna just fold this in half so I don't get embossing powder on the card base. Since I don't feel like pausing the video to go get up and get more grid paper. So bubble bath, card base. And then this is a bubble bath kind of tone on tone pattern. This is part of the mixed up patterns that was in the January catalog, but it's still available online. But I am gonna have to stop the video because, well, we'll just use liquid glue. Normally I use Stampin' Seal, but I forgot to bring it in here. So we are using liquid glue today. Nice in the corner there. And this piece is cut to go almost totally to the edge of just a very thin border. So actually it is nice to just use liquid glue because then you can zhuzh it a little bit if you need to. All right. Now we are going to get this angle cut. We are taking our beautifully embossed piece. We are cutting at an angle, just whatever angle I want. And then we're sliding it down so that we get the same. Yes. So that then we get the same angle this way. Let's cut along that line. So you can see where there's some strays here. That just happens sometimes, and it's all right. They don't get shiny, and I think it still looks gorgeous. So it's all good. All right, so let's trim this baby up. And I like to trim from the front. So we're gonna just whack that off. Then let's see. So again, we have scissors again on the website. Go grab, or not again, sorry. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order them right now. One of the perks of being a demonstrator, you get to order product early. The scissors are coming out in the July online exclusives, which, oh my gosh, guys. The July online exclusives are gorgeous. They are full, it is full of a bunch of seasonal stamps, so some great fall stamps, Halloween stamps, and papers. Actually a really great Halloween suite. Some Christmas stuff already. And if you're like, oh my gosh, really, guys, you're doing Christmas stuff already. I know, but I will tell you, if you are somebody who likes to send out a lot of Christmas cards, and or you maybe typically do like gift bag, like cool gift packaging, which I've got some tutorials for that, for maybe all of your staff, or you do some sort of big exchange somewhere, where you need a lot of the same thing. Getting a jump on it, ordering those supplies in July, and then maybe you still don't make them until September, but you've got all the stuff, and then you just crank it out. All right, so hey, look at our Huntrix logo. So you see, we assembled it this way, and all we had to do, flip it, turn it, logo's still right. And I keep trying to sing the Missy Elliott song. Down, flip it and reverse it, but I'm not going to, because wrong thing. So, so this time I assembled it. So when I did this one, I had to trim a little bit because I didn't quite get the crescents where they needed to be, and it made it a little bit too big. But this time we did a great job, and it fits, but just barely. But that's when, if you just trim just a little bitty bit, works great. So now, so I've said it on here 100 times, like when you use all of the dimensionals out, don't throw the ring away. This is all still dimensional too, and it's perfect for like more oddly shaped designs, different sort of designs where you need, you just need little slivers of dimensional. This is the ticket, right? So we're gonna put some dimensionals down. Randomly, pretty kind of random, but we just want to make sure across, we want to make sure, oops, this center is reinforced. Of course, the edges, let's see, that might still be too big. Nope, it's not. Good. I'm just gonna keep heading. So it's not too complicated, right? Just takes some patience, which a lot of people think I have a lot of patience because of the crafts I choose to do, like this, needlepoint, canning and preserving, making, baking, which is really chemistry, not necessarily patience. But I actually don't have a lot of patience for kind of fussiness. And so I would say this is like a more involved craft. You have to have a plan doing this card, right? But I made that plan for you. So if you want the plan, make sure you sign up for the newsletter, and you will get the supply list, and then you can watch this video again and follow along and make some for yourself. I mean, how great. Make a little assembly line going of these, and what a cute, okay, so here we've got a dimensional, I can tell it's poking out here, but since they're foam, you can kind of roll it back. Make sure your logo is the way you want it. And then we know it fits on here. All right. Now we actually, because this is already up on dimensionals, we're actually just going to put some glue across here to attach this. A little bit up here, a little bit down there. And we overglued it. I knew it. That's all right. In a little bit, I will get my adhesive eraser, which you can get art supply store, online retailer of your choice, and I'll just, I can get a little bit off. And here we go. Ta-da! All done. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little homage to K-Pop Demonhunters. Drop me a note, a like, comment, put down who's your favorite Huntrix, like if it's Rumi, Zoe, I think I'm Zoe. I don't know. We'll see like what you like, or if you're a Saja boy. So happy you stopped. Mira. Why didn't I say Mira? Good grief. Rumi, Mira, or Zoe. Let me know. I was total space cadet there, but I hope you enjoyed it. I have fun thinking of creative things like this. Have a great day, and happy honeymoon.